What is goody? On this video, I'm gonna be speaking about a prophetic, very prophetic dream that I had 2 nights ago. So this dream was about 666. The Bible tells us you could use the mark. Well, us Christians, we're not supposed to take it. So do not take the mark of the beast. Do not worship his image. Do not take the number of the beast, the name of the beast. Do not get involved with that. Stay away from them. Because if you will get involved, you're going to go to hell. If you take the mark of the beast, the number of the beast, you're going to go to the lake of fire. You're going to go to hell. So do not take it. A lot of Christians think it's okay to take it. They think, oh, it's going to be mandatory and it's not a good thing. Oh, but I could take it. No, do not take the mark of the beast if you're a Christian. If you do, you will go to hell. Um, do not take it. So, in this dream, I was in a room. My family was having a party. I was in a room with like 30 people, and I was sitting down, um, and I was looking at a TV that was in front of me. And on the TV, it was a news channel. I think it was Fox News or something. And I was just looking at it, and it was a lady broadcaster or whatever, a lady host, whatever they're called. Doesn't matter to me. It was a lady speaking, and she was talking about the possibility of the nations uniting. I don't think she used the word peace. She didn't use the word peace. I think she was just talking about the nations uniting, and how they were trying to use this new thing to they were trying to use this new thing to unite the world. And then it cut to a video on the, it was still the news channel, but it showed a video on the news. The news showed a video of a machine that looked like a sewing machine in size. It wasn't a huge machine. It was just like a square box, um, the size of a house sewing machine. So it's not that big, but it was a little electric machine, and it looked basically exactly like this: six-sided hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, six-sided. It was a stamp. And people, they were just putting their hands underneath. They were putting their hands underneath, like a sewing machine. You put the piece of fabric under the, you know, under the needle or whatever, where you want to sew. But it wasn't like going into your skin. Um, when I first woke up from the dream, I thought I thought it went into their skin. I thought it was like a cut. I thought it was cutting into people's skin. Um, but I thought about it for a little while after, and at this point, I believe it was an invisible ink. I believe, because I didn't see any ink. When I woke up, I remembered specifically I didn't see any ink. I didn't see anything. So I believe it was an invisible ink. I believe it was an invisible ink, and people were putting their hands under, right, and on the thing, and it would stamp. Then the next person could do it. So I believe it was a stamp, and I believe it was 666. No man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name or the number of the beast or the number of his name. So people were just, and I think it was a right hand too. I saw a video from like above or whatever. It was a video of a person putting his hand under the machine and the stamp just going down onto his skin. And when I saw it, when I was just watching the video, watching the news, when I saw that happening, I said, "That's 666." I said to everyone in the room. I started preaching out loud. I was saying, "That's 666. That's 666. That's 666." Or whatever. I was just telling them uh, to resist. I was telling them to uh, collapse the system. I was explaining how to collapse the system, and the reason I was telling them to do these things is because if they enforce this in the future, next year maybe, this year maybe, the year after, 2 years, I don't know. I don't know when they're gonna enforce it, but when they enforce the system, the beast system, the mark of the beast, all that, if we do not fight back, they're gonna have control. If people do not rob the stores, then they're not gonna shut down. If people do not rob the stores, if people do not loot the stores, the system's gonna continue running. If every Christian does that, loots the stores, as Christians are supposed to do, we have to collapse the system. Don't go out hurting people, but we have to collapse the system. If we do not collapse the system, they're gonna have control. They're gonna be able to arrest and kill us at their own will. But if we collapse the system, no stores, no running anything, if we collapse it all, they're not gonna have control. So as Christians, once we see on the news they're thinking about doing this, they're talking about doing this, they already are, honestly. They've been doing it for years. Out in Sweden, Switzerland, they've been talking about putting microchips into people's right hands. Little tiny little rice sized microchips, and they do it already. They've been doing it for years. They've been speaking about it for years. But once it happens to the US, and that it already has, they've been speaking about this literally for years. News. But once they actually start moving with it, which they have already been moving with it, but once they really get traction, we gotta collapse the system. We have to. We have to. And come here, sweetie. And that's really the only way um, we're gonna be able to survive. That's the only way. Because if you live in a country where the Antichrist government, where people do not resist, the government's gonna have control. Look at Canada. I mean, they resisted with the truckers, right? But look at Australia. They didn't resist at all. They barely even did anything. And the Australian government had control. If they looted all the stores in Australia, if they collapsed everything, it would have went way different. It would have went way different. But it's not time yet either. It's not time to do it yet. Some places I would say it is. But it's not time here in the United States. It's not time to do that stuff yet. So yeah, um, that was the dream. It was a stamp. I believe it was an invisible ink on the tip of this. It was just an invisible ink. It just went over. It went down onto your skin. Stamp. Now, why do I say that? Well, in the dream, I didn't see any ink. I remembered that specifically. Yeah, I didn't see any ink, and it wasn't cutting into their skin. So I believe it was invisible ink that glows in black light. Why are they putting so many black lights on the streets? Why are they putting black lights on the streets? I believe this is the reason. Why are they putting those weird blue colored, I mean they're black lights, but why are they putting those weird purple blue colored lights? This is the reason. Because they're preparing already. They're preparing. And we have to prepare too. The best thing to do is prepare, so that instead of looting the stores, you're gonna loot your own house. Just loot your own house. Uh, that's the best thing we could do. Because everyone else, I think they're gonna loot the store, so we don't really have to worry about that. In the United States, at least, it's gonna happen. The stores are gonna be looted, so we don't really have to worry about that. But yeah. So next time, repent. God bless y'all.